We'll literally show you the career that you've been wanting, dying, itching to see.
Time to experience the nooks and crannies of careers with your own 2 feet on.
K-Patch
with Cedric.
It is a Monday, and starting off our week every time is Cedric in the studio bringing us some interesting videos from around career linked to different topics that we've chosen. Good morning, Cedric. How you doing?
Good morning.
Are you avoiding the incessant rains? We're talking about this every week because I feel like it's just been raining all summer.
It's ongoing, and yeah, I don't know when it's going to stop. But yeah, I left the house and it wasn't raining. Of course, I have my umbrella with me.
Good stuff.
Yeah, but once I got off the bus to walk to the station, of course, it starts raining. So.
Yeah, we're getting some slight effect. I don't think it's going to be big here in Seoul today from like one of the first typhoons of the season. But to be honest, yesterday we had some really heavy bursts of rain. Same for Saturday, blah, blah, blah. Road closures. I'm getting a little sick and tired of it now. Please stop raining. Whoever's in charge of the weather out there,
I agree.
Right?
And I have to say, happy birthday, Peter. I have to just go on record and on air, making sure I wish you a happy birthday.
Well, you and Becky did a fantastic video for every year. The Arirang listeners are wonderful at this. They'll give, I think, pretty much all the DJs a little birthday video, right? And you and Becky did it. Your greeting was very sincere, loved it, felt like you really wishing me a happy birthday. Becky decided to imitate my British accent, and I love her British accent. It sounds like she's from the Charles Dickens days.
Oh, okay.
All right, mate. I'm DJ Becky.
I couldn't tell the difference. I thought it sounded exactly like you, but apparently not.
No, it's fantastic. I love it when North Americans do a good British accent. It's better than my one anyway for you guys. So I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to post up that video so that everyone can appreciate it because lots of people from Arirang got involved, including Cedric. I'll put it up onto my social media. And thanks once again for everyone involved. Today's hashtag, before we move on to the video topic, is solution or 해결. And I'm showing Cedric now the picture of the cows on the roof of a building. There was flooding, in many parts of Korea.
Yeah.
And these cows somehow, I'm guessing when the water levels rose, they might have floated and got onto the roof of a building.
Right.
It's quite a good solution, right? But do you have either any memorable solutions to problems that you've had in the past, Cedric? Or do you have a problem now that you need Dr. Peter to solve for you?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember, just a couple of weeks ago, I had a big problem with my lower back.
Yes.
Where I hurt my lower back.
I must say today, more than usual, your arms look very muscular. So I'm assuming you're back and working out and your back is like solved.
Yeah, it's also my new shirt that I ordered. But,
I see.
Yeah.
Brings out the arms, the biceps. Okay.
Yeah, so that was the problem. The solution, well, it's several steps. I looked, number one, online, of course, and you have to self-diagnose yourself in 2020.
Absolutely.
Who needs a doctor these days?
Why go to the hospital?
Right, so I will watch some videos on how to rehab your lower back.
Wow.
Yeah, and then step 2 was to actually do some of the exercises that I found.
Okay, so how do you rehab your lower back?
Well, if it is a disc that's slipped or bulging, which I suspected was the case with me, all you have to do is several different exercises. One, you can hang from a bar and just kind of decompress your spine.
Wow.
So that's very important. 2, you can also do a stretch where you're laying on your belly and you're bending your back backwards, which seems counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But what that does is that pushes the disc back in.
Oh, wow.
In theory. Yeah.
So it feels a lot better?
It does. Now it feels 100%, but I'm still going to go easy and make sure I get a actual proper checkup from an actual doctor, not the internet.
Yes, we were totally kidding that the internet is the solution to everything. I'm sure one day you will be able to do a proper full diagnosis online, right? But these days we're not there yet. So Cedric is going to get it checked out, especially with your back, because that could cause something long term. I do think you should go and see a doctor. But wow, that's amazing that it feels better at least, right? Fantastic stuff. Okie dokie. Keep on sending in some solutions that you've had to problems, or if you do have a problem right now and you're struggling to think of something, 2 heads are better than 1, and we've got a couple of very brainy heads in the studio today. Me and Cedric will offer our advice. The topic for today, Cedric, in your own own words, what are we taking a look at?
Well, we're going to go to one of the oldest markets here in Seoul. It's a traditional street market, and the name of it is 광장시장.
Oh, have you been before you had to take this video, Cedric?
Not at this particular market. I've seen videos, tons of videos on it.
Yeah.
And so I've always wanted to go. So super happy that I was able to make it out there. And it was really because it was a rainy day, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of things that a lot of Koreans here eat on rainy days and even drink.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at one of, like Cedric says, the most featured markets on social media and TV shows as well, 광장시장.
Hey guys, so we're out here at Gwangjang or Gwangjang Market, and this is one of the biggest markets in Seoul, and it's a rainy day, so I'm going to show you what a lot of Korean people traditionally eat on rainy days, and also some other fun things to eat at the market. So let's go. So we're going to head to the food zone, even though this market has way more than just food.
So it's nice and covered as well for a rainy day.
Yes, it's very perfect.
Fresh fruits, fresh nammals, the like side dishes, rooty kind of things.
I don't know what you can't find there. They have everything.
Okie dokie, we've got the traditional pancakes there.
Yes.
We've also just had a weather warning. I think that's what you can hear in the background. So
I was
please
like, I
do
don't remember
excuse
putting that in the video.
Makgeolli.
We got some makgeolli there, and this is the
pindaedeok, is it?
Yeah, pindaedeok right here. So this is the mung bean pancake.
It's a pretty thick one, right?
Right.
It's different to the pajeon. I actually prefer the mung bean. Mung bean doesn't sound too attractive, but it tastes so good when it's fried like that.
Yeah, it's more closer to maybe a fried hash brown or potato versus
You're right. It kind of
like
has that
other
texture.
done. Yeah.
Yeah. And with the makgeolli, and you see the raw onions chopped up in the soy sauce with some of the chili peppers.
Right.
I love eating those. I always ask for more raw onions because they give just a little fresh crunch. Sometimes they can be insanely spicy, but as long as you avoid those onions, it's pretty good. I love it how it's really kind of a casual vibe as well. You just sit around the counter area to the person who's cooking in the middle, right?
Right. So it's fun because a lot of times you'll be walking down just the aisle trying to search for something to eat, and every other stall you have the vendor there just trying to get you to come and sit down. So come sit down, we have this, we have that. And so it's kind of awkward if you make eye contact and just walk past them. So I just sort of look straight until I find what I want to eat.
If you're not good at saying no, you maybe don't want to go to the traditional markets, but it's all friendly and no one really gets offended, no matter how persuasive they're trying to be. And that is one of the, if not the most representative dish, I believe, for a rainy day, is eating the pindaedeok, right? We did it recently for Peter's ASMR, just the sounds of making it, you know, and when it's being fried, that sound reminds you of a rainy day as well. Do you ever eat it at home, Cedric? Because it's quite, I guess, labor intensive to make.
No, I think you guys can guess that.
Fantastic. But is it one of your go-to dishes? Are you a fan of it?
I do love it. I mean, you know, I can't tell you how many times I actually eat it. It's probably probably a couple of times a year I'll end up eating it. But if I could, I would eat it every week because it's very much a comfort food for me.
Sure. It's very filling compared to the other pancakes. As you can see, it was really thick. And the makgeolli is the traditional accompaniment with it, right?
It's just such a perfect combination.
How would you describe makgeolli? Because it's different to sake because they're both called rice wines, right?
Right. So this might sound a little gross, but just for the sake of trying to describe it, it's sort of take skim milk.
Okay. Yep.
And put a little flavor, sweetness, and alcohol in it.
Yeah.
With a little fizz, a little seltzer water, and then you have makgeolli.
Yeah, it does sound odd, doesn't it? But it tastes great. Like, out of the Korean alcohols, I think that's my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because soju's a bit just too strong and alcohol-y. And then there's a few along those lines. There's bokmunja as well, which is like a kind of raspberry or berry wine. But for me, that combination of a bit of fizz, a bit of milkiness to it, which would usually be like, ugh, but it's good. It works for me.
Right. And, you know, you would actually do well hanging out with my mom. She loves makgeolli.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and so, it's very, very good. It doesn't taste like rice to me, though. It doesn't. It has maybe a subtle flavor with certain makgeollis, but for the most part, it doesn't.
No, yeah, it kind of looks like the rice color you saw there, and it's quite thick and, like Cedric said, a bit milky. And the thing that you drink it out of, it looks like a little metal bowl, but that's also the traditional like vessel for drinking.
Right.
You don't usually have like a glass or a sojujan, the little shot glass or anything like that. It is a bowl, and it's seen, I think, as a kind of beverage of the people, right?
Absolutely. It's very delicious. If you haven't tried it, I definitely encourage you to try it. But on rainy days, we have the bindaetok, which is the mung bean pancake, but there are also other forms of what we call jeon, kind of like the fried battered foods.
Yeah.
And pajeon is one of the more popular ones, which is like a scallion pancake. And one of the biggest differences between pajeon and bindaetok is the texture.
Yeah, it's not as thick as that bindaetok,
right? And it tends to be a little chewier as well, the pajeon, that is.
And often, and I like it this way, is the hemul pajeon, so it's got lots of seafood in there, but that wouldn't be your bag, I think,
no,
with your
that
seafood
would probably
allergies.
send me to the emergency room there. But.
Yeah. What other jeons do they have?
Well, so they have kamjatjeon, which is a like potato-based jeon, and that has a whole nother texture as well.
Yeah, do you have potato pancakes in the States? Is that a thing?
Not that I know of. That might be a thing, but not that I ever grew up with.
We have something in the UK called a potato rosti, and it's like little strips of potato, really thin, like tiny strips of almost like tape, and then you put them all together in a pan and just fry it up as a pancake. It doesn't taste exactly the same,
sure,
but it's along the similar lines of kamjatjeon.
Right, that's perhaps what we call hash browns.
Yeah, similar to a hash brown. But isn't a hash brown, I don't know in America, but in the UK, you kind of deep fry the whole thing, and it's like this chunk of hash brown, and then you're right, inside the potato is kind of like in these little strips or little cube areas or shapes.
Right.
Doesn't taste exactly the same as that, but kamjatjeon in Korea sometimes I don't know if this is traditional, have it with ketchup as well, like Western style instead of soy sauce, and it tastes really good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you have that, which is like the perfect combo with makgeolli, and then you have other foods that Koreans would eat on a rainy day, like halguksu, which is like a knife-cut noodle soup.
Oh.
Very delicious.
Yeah, I don't know why that's eaten on a rainy day, because I heard with the chons, your body is craving something fatty and oily on a rainy day. We had these food scientists here at Arirang Radio for a time, and I spoke to them about it, and they were like, yeah, there is this desire from your body to have something oily and calorie-rich on a rainy day, which is why maybe Koreans crave it. It's quite an interesting concept, isn't it? Because I don't know about the US, but in the UK, I can't think of foods that are heavily associated with the rain.
Sure.
It's not such a thing, right?
Right. Same for the US.
Yeah, you just eat everything no matter what the weather is. We'll get on to more talk. We'll get to your messages as well in part 2. We're going to play some BTS now, Dionysus. We're back for part 2 of K-Patch with Cedric, who's taken us to Gwangjang today. A couple of you asking for the name, and Sci-Fi Kimmy saying also, where is it? So if you want to spell it in English, it would be Gwangjang Market, right? Whereabouts was this, Cedric? How did you get there?
So I got there via subway on the number 2 green line.
Okay.
But you can also take the number 1 blue line.
All right.
Yeah, so it's...
Did you get off at Uljiros Haga? It looks
yes,
like
I
it's
did.
The closest station on line 2. And that's quite close to... I assume that's the Cheonggyecheon. We're looking at a map
that's
right
correct.
now,
right.
Which is one of the streams that runs through central Seoul. And according to this map, maybe Jongno Oga or Jongno 5ga would be the closest station, like Cedric said, on line number 1. And then it's like in one block, it seems, between the roads surrounding it. Fantastic. Lots of other messages as well, Cedric?
Yeah, Unita says, I tried sanakji, which is like the little baby octopus.
Oh, the sannakji.
Yeah,
the alive
moves
ones.
around. Yeah, for the first time there at the market. And she finally tried it after a few visits to Korea. And my hat's off to you, because I would never, ever do that.
You are allergic
to... So squid. And I don't mess with octopus.
It's quite closely related, it seems. That might not be a good idea. Yeah, I think the official name is something like the long-legged octopus or something. And so they're not even that small. And then they'll cut it up for you and you eat it live and it's still wiggling about in your mouth. It tastes just of the seasoning you put it in. Like, there's no distinct flavour from the actual octopus, I feel. Aimlita says, I'm craving some chon now. How do I make it? I remember some YouTubers, Jolly, they made John with Kellogg's, spring onion, and another seafood chip as well. That's not the traditional way to make it. That's not pajon, because there is the pamut cereal that's out at the moment. Have you tried that, by the way?
No, I have not. I don't even think I want to try it.
Yeah, like, even just for fun, it doesn't seem like it would be that fun. So for the nokdujon, which is the pindaedak, they both go by those two names, the mung bean pancakes. Mung bean are obviously the key ingredients, and you need to like soak it for ages. I did a video with my mum actually on Mama Boy, if you want to check out the recipe, and there was pork in there was kimchi as well, so it's a little bit spicy but not overpoweringly so, right? You should be able to handle that. And then garlic, soy sauce, sesame oil, etc., and a lot of oil in the pan, so I don't think it's super healthy, but again, maybe better than like a hamburger or a hot dog, like Western like fast food, I guess.
Right, absolutely. Fa says the pancake is a must-have on rainy days, of course, even when it's not raining. And I would have to agree with that, because even today, I'm really craving it. But then again, it's a rainy day, so...
It really doesn't matter. You can have John at any time. And John is also very traditional, these savoury pancakes during the holidays, right? Chuseok and Seollal and whatnot. Those big holidays of Thanksgiving and Lunar New Year. Noor's saying... pancake looks nice. I'm craving it, but is it vegetables in there? I'm not a big fan of vegetables. I'd say even when I was fussy with vegetables, like up until my late teenage years, you can't really tell it's packed full of veggies and mung beans.
Sure, yeah, I would have to agree. So if you don't really like vegetables, still give this a try. There's a good chance that you'll like it, I think. And they do have meat versions too. We had at the market, we had a vegetable one, and then we also had a meat one.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. And even if there are like veggies here, there, and everywhere, you don't really taste them individually or anything like that, so don't worry. Yana also saying, there are so many people at the market during a rainy day from that video. Yeah, because it's covered as well. I think people are all flocking to indoor venues at the moment. Not great with COVID-19, but I think most people, unless you're eating, they've still got their masks on as they're walking around and stuff.
That is correct.
Right?
Yep. And Kevin Leonard says potato latkis, I think I said that correctly, are a type of pancake that originated in Poland, Russia, and Central Europe.
Oh, are those
I
a potato
wonder what that
pancake?
Looks like. Oh, wow. That looks very similar to...
Yeah, like a kamjajeon here in Korean, or what I was describing as a potato roshti. Maybe I got the word wrong, because that looks exactly like what my mum used to cook in Britain, and still sometimes cooks. Those look delicious.
I wonder what kind of sauce that is, too.
Yeah, on the side, it looks a bit fruity. We're going to get on to your second video, Cedric, as well.
The second video is just going to show some other popular snacks that you can get at this market or any traditional market. So let's take a look.
Not necessarily for rainy days.
Not necessarily.
Tteokbokki, the fish cakes there as well.
Right.
What is that? Is that pig skin?
That is pig. I think that's
chicken
pig
feet.
Yeah, chicken feet. Sorry.
Takbal. I'm not such a huge fan. The mini kimbaps, right? Are they called mayak kimbap?
Mayak kimbap.
As in the addictive like drugs.
Right. Exactly.
What is that sauce?
Really so it's sort of a. I think a wasabi-based sauce.
Ah, okay, yes, maybe the soy sauce with the kyoja, the mustard in there.
Right.
Oh, look at that gwabegi, the twisted donut. Those are so good.
Yeah, very, I think old style as well.
Yeah.
It's been around for a long time.
Yeah, my mum used to eat those when she was younger. She always gets those, but my kids love them as well.
Right.
Timeless.
Now, this is the susu bukumi, which is the millet pancake.
Oh, a millet pancake.
So this is my first time trying this.
What is in it?
So they put this red bean paste, which is really not sweetened. A lot of times we know red bean to be very sweet, but they have the unsweetened version.
No, this is some syrup that you put on top of it.
Yeah, this is honey.
Oh, wow. That looks kind of nice.
And you get a little bit of tea there for free, which is great. Okay, first time, let's see what the fuss is about. It's really hot though.
I've never had that.
Right. And it's good.
Bean inside. Is it sweet?
It's not overly sweet.
Yeah.
The honey gives it the sweetness, but
I like it that they give you some honey to pour on it.
Nice.
absolutely. Yeah, so, I've never even heard of it, so I had to look it up before we went to the market, but apparently this particular vendor there hadn't been there for that long. I mean, the recipe has been around for a long time, but I think they just got to that market and then they just exploded in popularity.
Susubukumi.
Right.
I've not heard. A millet pancake. It looks kind of like hot dog, which is much more famous, and I think some of our listeners might know that.
Right.
Which is sometimes filled with a syrup and cinnamon, and maybe even they have the shiat ones with all the seeds and nuts inside.
Yeah, so it looks similar but tastes totally different, and the texture is different as well because this millet pancake is a little bit more, once it's cooked, it's a little more harder on the outside versus a hot dog, which is more soft and chewy.
Wow, that's really interesting because you can get the hot dog, even the mixture at the supermarket. Some tourists like to buy it and then cook it back at home. My friends from the UK, they fell in love with that, especially on a cold winter day if you're eating that. You have to be careful as well because the filling can sometimes be scalding hot, so make sure you blow it. And I love the thing in Korea how we put them in the little paper cups as a holder. Now, I don't think paper cups were designed to hold pancakes, but they work, right? And you just pick it out with a little toothpick, go in old school like that. You need to say in the twisted donut, I've tried that and I'm curious because there's so many people queuing there. That's what happens in the markets, right? If there is a queue for something, you assume it's good. And then everyone's waiting.
Right. And there can be like vendors selling the same thing in the same little area, but then one vendor will have the long line. So you know that there's something to that vendor.
Yeah, and Koreans usually know their matjibs, the famous tasty places. So just follow in those lines and you really can't go too wrong. Let's play some more music. We'll have some more talk and keep on sending in your foods, your traditional markets, photos and videos via Kakao Talk. Our username is Daily K. This is Idare Sonya Luna with Favorite. That scared me at the end. I thought something was coming at me. We've got Cedric coming at you every single Monday for K-Patch. This week's theme is the Gwangjang or Gwangjang Market, and we've took a look at a couple of videos. Lots of food, lots of you getting more and more hungry, Cedric. You're going to have to buy a round of pancakes, I feel.
Oh, man, I would love to for everyone.
Nur says, for me, the best for a rainy day would be ramyeon with a half-cooked egg on top. Ooh, half-cooked, so it's maybe kind of runny. I've not seen that too often in Korea. Like, for me, I beat the egg into the ramyeon, so it all becomes kind of scrambled in there.
Right.
Are you an egg man with your ramyeon, Cedric?
I am, yeah. I don't want the runny eggs in my ramyeon, but I like it on maybe my tteokbap or kimchi bokkeumbap, the kimchi fried rice,
And then the yolk goes all over the rice.
It's great.
Then it's delicious, isn't it? You got a couple of messages as well?
Yeah, Aimlita says she wants to try all of the food in the market. Yes.
Seemed like you tried quite a bit, though, as well.
I did. We were very full at the end of it, and really we just snacked, which is great about the market is you can just eat little foods here and there. You don't have to go for a big meal.
Yeah, that is a real fun thing to do, is just try a little bit from this store, a little bit from that store, and that's all in lieu of a meal. Then you don't need to have a lunch or a dinner, right? You can just keep snacking while you're there. We also got a message from Linda in the US saying, my friend is Jewish, and during Hanukkah they make those delicious pancakes you mentioned, the potato ones called latkes. The recipe link is above. And you said, as for my fam, my mum makes these amazing rolled mashed potato taquitos, seasoned mashed potatoes rolled in corn tortillas, deep fried, covered in sour cream, guacamole, salsa, and cotija cheese. Ooh, I've not heard of that. That sounds like a kind of Mexican dish that you'd have, but with potato inside the tortilla.
Right.
That sounds nice, doesn't it?
Sounds really good. Siska says, one more food that I love at the Gwangjang Market, mayak gimbap. Yes, there's a reason why they call it mayak, which sort of, I guess you could translate it into maybe it has to do with drugs and the addiction,
right?
Yeah, the addiction part of the drugs.
They're very Moorish, right? You eat one and you just want to put another one in your mouth. Because the reason I think they taste better, that sauce is definitely part of the secret, because you don't usually dip it into soy sauce with the wasabi / kyoja mustard in it. But also, because they're so small, there's not too much rice. I feel if there's too much rice, you get full quickly, but it's just a biteful. It's perfect.
Right. Yeah, it's so good.
Sci-Fi Kimmy says, oh, those donuts remind me of the fried dough my aunt used to make. Just dough and cinnamon sugar. Yeah, the donuts don't have to be round and pretty. Those twisted ones, the gwabegi, really traditional here in Korea, right?
Right, absolutely.
Okie dokie. So that is our 광장시장 video for you. You'll be able to watch it again on YouTube and via VLive too. We got some stuff from our listeners to go through as well. Cherie has sent in this saying, this is in Columbus, Ohio. We have a very famous indoor market that people come miles from around to buy from. It's called North Market. That looks really beautiful as well. Like the Gwangjang unfortunately, the exterior doesn't look that attractive, right? You can't really tell. It's like a hodgepodge of lots of different things.
It looks really dated, but inside is quite remarkable. But this looks nice.
Look at that in the nighttime, with all the lighting there. I'm not sure what time actually Gwangjang is open to, but because Korea is quite a late country in terms of everything being open for people after work and stuff, I'm guessing you'll be able to buy dinner there easily, right?
Right. I believe the market itself closes a little earlier, but the food area closes around 10, 11 at night.
Yeah, the official hours it says on here, surprisingly to me at least, is 9 to 5 p.m., right? So that'd be quite an early close for the food places. But like Cedric said, I'm sure some of those snack places are still open later. The North Market, though, a Polish kitchen as well. Fantastic. Are there many Polish people or people of Polish descent in the States in certain places?
I think you can find pockets of people. Yeah, I haven't come across too many, but I've had my fair share of Polish food, like the sausages with the sauerkraut. Oh, those are delicious.
They're good.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of Poles in the UK to the point where certain neighbourhoods have Polish supermarkets, with signs all in Polish as well. My best friend from school, his father was Polish. You say this North Market, it isn't food just from the States, it's from all over the world. Thank you so much. This being some spices, it seems, bubbles as well. There's a juice and tea company. Looks kind of trendy as well. Whereas 광장시장, I would say it's more like traditional, right?
Right. It probably hasn't changed in a while.
Yeah, the interior, and you saw the feel of it. There's no like hipsterish signs or anything like that. It's just people going for good food. Not too expensive, right? Everything's pretty reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Fantastic.
Yeah, just come with some cash and you'll be good to go.
We've got one from Siska now in Indonesia. You say this is a popular food on rainy days in Indonesia. Some bakso, beef meatball soup. That looks like a wonton, crispy fried on top. That looks pretty delicious, doesn't it? With some spicy sauce in there. I don't think we have any meatball dishes that we eat on rainy days here.
Yeah, and that looks like a fried something, but it looks delicious. Siska, did you make this yourself or is this at a restaurant?
I'm guessing at a restaurant. I don't mean to be rude, Siska, but it looks amazing. And sekoteng, a milk ginger soup with some ingredients, is also what you have on a rainy day. What about you, Cedric? Do you crave anything on a rainy day? Today's a rainy day. You said you want some chon?
Yeah, but I think that's because we're talking about it. We were looking at pictures of it, but I don't know if I have a specific craving, but I will tell you this. I think something more like snack foods would be more appropriate for, I guess, my taste on rainy days, like ramyeon or maybe like tteokbokki or something like that. Something simple.
Something not too heavy, not too complicated as well. I'm with you for that as well. I don't know, on a rainy day, like just in general, my mood as well feels a bit down and a bit damp, like the weather. These days, it's every day like that. So I don't want something like a big jjigae, like a big soup and rice and like all the banchan side dishes. That's not for me at all.
Right.
And these days, cold noodles as well, because they're quite light. So the 메밀국수 are quite fancy, the buckwheat noodles, or even a naengmyeon as well, like a mulnaengmyeon.
Which is perfect for a summer rainy day, especially.
Yeah, for sure, right? A little bit more about this market. How long has it been around for? We say it's traditional and one of the oldest.
Yes. So this has been around for over 100 years, and it dates back to about 1905.
Oh, wow. For Korea, that is super old. Yeah.
Yeah. So before this time, there were pretty much just markets that would set up temporarily every couple of days. And so this is known to be the first permanently established market that was open every day.
Oh,
so you can see the history here. And there are about 5,000 stores and vendors in the market, which is insane.
That is huge, isn't it? Yeah, so you just showed us mainly the food area there.
Right.
But in 광장시장, there's lots of vendors selling many other things. That's where my wife got her hanbok for our wedding, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, I got my hanbok there as well. I wasn't the main event, obviously, but we both went there. And right next to, or in the floor before, there was apparently the first Maya kimbap place, like the original. Because now there are many different vendors selling that addictive kimbap, but there was the number one store, the Irojom, they had there, and there were people lined up for miles, it seemed like, to get that kimbap. And to be honest, it's not that special like the ingredients and stuff, but still, for the original, Koreans will seem to queue and queue and queue.
Right, absolutely. So it's definitely worth a visit if you ever come to Korea. Yeah, definitely check out that market. Put that on your list and you won't be disappointed for sure.
Yeah, there are a few markets that you need to go to, but Gwangjang, like Cedric said, is probably the one with the most history, the most tradition, and the most choices for all those foods and snacks. Thanks as ever for bringing that in. Annie messaged us from Singapore saying, I really enjoyed the Gwangjang Market radio/video tour. Every Monday at this time, that's what Cedric does. Thank you, buddy, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you guys next week.
Let's play a song request now from Kimmy. You've said, I paid some money for an interactive live stream to meet and greet the band, but it was cancelled at the last minute, leaving me disappointed. So I'd like to hear 예쁘다고 Gorgeous by VAV.